vicinity of that poker table. Take a look at all the photos as you go through. I got pictures in this room of the house when it's waterfront property. Got a cool picture of him driving the convertible that was down here right around the corner right there. That's a pretty fun picture.
These years we've come down here, we made it.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, those of you that just got here, I'll hang out with you after it's over. Okay.
Those are pretty much original.
Okay. I'll leave this. I'll leave this like this.
Again.
Yeah, I'll catch you guys up after it's over.
I like it in here.
Me too.
It's much bigger than I thought. Because I didn't get to go on a vacation on my birthday.
I do have the ability to do that, absolutely.
It's open.
Look at those doors.
The doors, yeah.
It's so industrial, like, you know? Like, that's not house-like.
These old kids.
So if you go around the house, I've got non-historic fold-out chairs like this stashed around the house. So whenever you see something like this, feel free to pull that out and use it. Have them upstairs too. Yeah, just can't have people flopping down on the rattan furniture because that's historic. Now, as you guys come in the house, you're going to see 85% of the house. The only parts you won't see are the non-historic places. We've got 2 modern bedrooms upstairs that we use for modern guests today, and the kitchen's not historically accurate, but you will see 85% of the house. Now, the way the house is decorated for you today is exactly the way it was decorated in January of 1949. After he wins the re-election in 1948, they hire an interior decorator, and they spend thousands of dollars. He's going to come in, Lassiter's going to come in and put in wall-to-wall carpet. He's going to pick out the rattan furniture out of department stores in Miami. It's not custom made for the house, guys. As you walk around the house, you will recognize some of the pieces of furniture from your grandparents' house. So this is the way we're going to decorate the house when we open as a museum in 1991. Our goal is to make it look like it did during his second term in office. Now, the poker table is not done by Haygood Lassiter, the interior decorator. That's made right here on the base. This guy, he has a poker game going almost every night, guys. They're not gambling for thousands of dollars, but they are gambling for real money. So the President of the United States has games with admirals, enlisted men, everybody plays. Yeah, that's right. If he's got an empty seat, he'll go out the back door and grab somebody right off the base and make them come in here and sit down so he's got a full table. So everybody on the base knows about these games. So some enlisted guys that run a carpentry shop down the street make him that table out of mahogany. You can't walk anywhere in this town without walking under a mahogany tree. They are everywhere. So that's mahogany. The poker chip holders are carved into the sides. What do they decide to make the ashtrays out of? Check this out. They're going to cut up one of these. A 3-inch brass shell casing. That's what the ashtrays are made out of right there. Cigarette and cigar holders are machine gun bullets. It's a really neat table, folks. Now, like I said, he's playing with everybody. He's got admirals. He's got enlisted men. He's got the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court down here gambling with him one Thanksgiving. Do you think the press corps knows better than to take a picture of the president gambling with the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court? Absolutely they do, guys. Gambling is only legal in one state at the point. They understand it's a taboo subject, so there are no pictures of him gambling with the Chief Justice. So the guys that make him the table, they understand this. So they also make him that lid for the table right there. It goes right on top. You don't know it's a poker table. It's a dinner table. It's a meeting table. John Kennedy has his first summit with a foreign leader sitting right in the corner of this room, right where the cutout of Harry Truman is, with Prime Minister Harold Macmillan of Great Britain in March of '61. So his first meeting with a foreign leader only 5 weeks into his term in office is right here at this poker table with the lid on it. Now I mentioned the ashtrays on the table, but look, they're everywhere. Everybody smoked, folks. It was fashionable to smoke. Even doctors smoked. There's an ad in that Life magazine right there that says, more doctors smoke Camels than any other brand of cigarette. That's right, there's a doctor with a stethoscope around his neck smoking a cigarette. Isn't that insane? Now, everybody smoked. All the staff smoked. Now, the Truman family, none of them smoked. He didn't smoke. His wife doesn't smoke. Daughter Margaret doesn't smoke. But does Truman drink? A little bit. He's not a heavy drinker, but he will tell you he drinks because his doctors told him to. He's got a heart arrhythmia. He's got AFib. So they're worried about plaque building up in his arteries. They didn't have all the good stuff that I took this morning, losartan, propanol, all that nonsense. But some doctors would recommend alcohol as the blood thinner, folks. And in the morning, he's going to come down and have his glass of freshly squeezed Florida orange juice followed by a trip to the bar. Mr. Bartender, may I please have my heart starter? There it is. Old granddad, guys, Kentucky whiskey. He's going to do a shot of that neat, followed by a brisk walk around the base, about a 2-mile walk. Those are the doctor's orders. That's what he does the rest of his life, guys. He lives to be 88 years old. He doesn't die until 1972. Who's the oldest first lady ever? That's Truman, 97 years old. Same thing, couple birthday martinis with her husband every day, brisk walks around the base around Lafayette Park. She lives to be 97. She doesn't die until 1982. Now, this base closes down in 74. This part of the base. The subs have gotten too big. They're not going to fit in the harbors anymore. The environmentalists are not going to let the Navy dredge deeper. So all the subs and battleships get relocated up to Norfolk, Pensacola, Kings Bay. They're out of here. And this part of the base gets shut down. Now it sits here for 13 years with nothing being done to it. This whole neighborhood, this whole 40-acre neighborhood with all these old buildings in it, sitting here with nothing being done to it. So 1987, they sell it to a private developer for $17.4 million. It's 40 acres. He starts turning everything into private residences, condos, rental properties. Naval Administration Building, those are like $8 million condos today. He wants to turn this house into a bed and breakfast, but Governor Bob Graham says, no, sir. It's been on the National Historic Registry for 14 years. 5 presidents have worked in there. So he does some wheeling and dealing and gets this 2-acre piece of property and this house for the state of Florida in 1987. Takes us 4 years and millions of dollars to find all these old photos. Speaking of old photos, you guys see the one that's out waterfront property right there? Isn't that cool? It's the one on that house when it's waterfront property. But the Navy guys have taken photos of every room. They've taken inventories. It just takes us a while, but we get everything back in here. And we open as a museum in '91. Like I said, the Carters are going to show up a couple times as tourists, just like yourselves. When the Clintons came down in 2005, Bob, who's here today, got the tour. Probably was the one right in front of me. Guy's 78 years old. He's been here since the 90s. He works 5 days a week. He's got the book Presidents in Paradise in the gift shop. He's trained every last one of us. He's taken the Clintons, the Carters, and Colin Powell on the tour of the house. After he toured the Clintons, we put them up for the weekend in one of those modern bedrooms I told you that we got upstairs. Funniest thing about the Clintons visit, they weren't thinking about coming to Key West at first. They were away in Palm Beach. And somebody said to them, Mr. Clinton, have you ever seen that Truman Museum down there in Key West? He goes, no, I don't know anything about it. So they decided to come down and check the place out. Extended their vacation by 3 days, came down, toured the property, and then spent the weekend with us. What wedding were they at in Palm Beach in 2005 when somebody made the suggestion that they come down here? You got it, Mar-a-Lago. All right, we're going upstairs to see most of the upstairs of the house.
Close second. What a dining room. Right? That's a steep fight.
If you've got that patient, you will just sit there and be still. They'll come and sit on you. Even birds will come and sit on you. It's so it's really fun. Whenever I have guests in town, I never sit here and take it back. Of course, I pay for your How we doing? We got everybody coming up?
Mm-hmm.
So this bedroom right here was a staff bedroom. President's bedroom's at the north end of the house. First lady's bedroom's right here. This bedroom was a staff bedroom. 2 modern bedrooms I keep talking about are down at this end of the house right here. But like I said, they're not historic, so we don't see them. what's fun to talk about in this room is that famous photo. Why is that photo so famous? Well, because it's dead wrong. It's in everybody's 8th grade U.S. history textbook because of how famous it is. Now, that is one of the original newspapers. They printed 150,000 of these before they realized they had this wrong. Before the second edition comes out correct with the right information. Now, what's going on in 48? Obviously, Dewey is not in this election, which is why the photo is so famous. But Dewey's the Republican governor of New York. He's winning in all the polls all year long. It looks like he's going to win this election. There's no poll all year long that has Harry Truman winning this election. Truman's in trouble. He's segregated the military by executive order. Doesn't go over well with his own party. The Deep South Democrats are not ready for this. Strom Thurmond will form the Dixiecrat Party. They will march out of the convention and assemble with all of his delegates. Truman's got a fight on his hands. Strom Thurmond will win 4 states that fall in November and 37 Southern electoral votes. So what does Truman do? Well, he breaks out this old train car that was made for FDR back in the 1930s with the podium and the presidential seal on the back of the caboosage. FDR could make speeches from the train car because he couldn't walk. So that was a way to not let people see that he was that handicapped. So Truman, even though he's fit as a fiddle in 48, he's still going to say, that's a great idea. He's going to live, eat, sleep, and live on that thing for 2.5 months from July all the way to October. 22,000 miles he crisscrosses the country. 352 stops and speeches just like the one you see right here. I mean, do the math, that's flying. That's like 10 speeches a day over the period of about 2.5 months. So he campaigns hard and he pulls it off. 303 electoral votes the morning after Election Day. Gets on a train heading back to Washington. This stop right here is right outside of St. Louis where some prankster jumps on the train with one of those. And he has a good time with it. Now, what's going on? Yes, the guys at the Tribune, they're looking at the polls. They're looking at the places that have counted their votes, like Great Lakes, Boston, New England, all that. They thought they had this right. But lastly, the thing they don't tell you in 8th grade is the typesetters union is on strike in the Chicago Tribune. The men and women doing the typesetting late that night into early that morning, there are no computers yet. They're trying to do this job fast. It's not their normal job, and they make a mess. There are misspellings, mispunctuations, typos. Look in the bottom right-hand corner down here. There's an entire paragraph that's upside down and backwards. So that's the complete story right there. So yeah, if you're looking through your parents' attic and you come across one of those, don't let it become fire starter for your grill. Take it to Antiques Roadshow. It's worth something. All right, now this room here, First Lady's bedroom. Why does the First Lady have a separate bedroom here? Well, they do in Washington. Starting in the early 19th century, the White House made a room down the hall from the President's room available for the First Lady if she wanted to not have to sleep with the President, so she wouldn't have to get awakened first thing in the morning. Most First Ladies appreciate it. Come on in, everybody. We'll get everybody in here. So Lasser's going to decorate this room femininely for the First Lady. He's going to put a second twin bed in here. That is for their daughter, Margaret. Pictured right here. Only child they will ever have. She's born in 1924. So at this point in history, she's in her early 20s. She's not married yet. She comes down with her mom every time her mom comes down. The ladies, they don't come down every time, but they come down about half of the visits that Truman comes down. And they do fall in love with Key West too. They love deep sea fishing. And they also fall in love with the weather. So they do fall in love with Key West too. Now that bathroom right there is actually 2 full bathrooms. There are 7 full bathrooms in this house in 1949. It's not a Jack and Jill, even though it goes through to the President's room, as you can clearly see. The ladies have their own shower tub, sink and toilet on their side, and so does he on the other side. That's 2 full bathrooms. Now, you guys recognize those beautiful 9x9 tiles? Mm-hmm. Old asbestos, you got it. These were ones put down in 1949. Now that we've looked at that, let's go look at the prettiest part of the house. The wraparound screened-in porch out here is the prettiest part of this entire tour.
Oh, it's through here.
Yep.
I see why I tell you guys, I don't have this. I'd be gone by then.
Oh my god, look, this looks like the stuff we have.
obviously everything in general never does anything that he never tells the street to go into something that he wouldn't do himself, right? So if I can drink, I can't tell you guys you can't. Isn't this porch beautiful?
Yeah.
It's the prettiest part of the entire house. Picture screens. If I were the first lady and the daughter, I would have my breakfast delivered up here. This is where I would hang out because this would just be the absolute best place to hang out in the entire house. Now, what's so cool about out here? Even though you're realizing, yeah, this is a screened-in porch, so it would have been pretty breezy. But what's fun is look at the wood. I told you this house is 135 years old. Guys, this has not been replaced. This wood has been down 135 years. It's southern longleaf pine. The whole house is made out of it. The siding, the framing, the flooring, everything's made out of southern longleaf pine. Southern longleaf pine, like cypress, is a hard pine. Hard pines are great construction material. They're hard to find anymore because they don't plant them as much as they used to, because it takes 100 years for a stand of it to mature. This wood, as it ages and gets hard, it gets so hard and so dry that termites can't get in it. You couldn't put a nail in this wood if I gave you drill right now. So that's how great construction material this wood is. Now, it's also the method of construction. It's made by shipbuilders with wooden dowels and pegs. There are no nails in this house, guys. So that's method and material is the reason this house has done so well for 135 years. I mean, think about it. We're only 150 yards away from where the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico meet. All those storms, and we've never had heavy damage because of what we're made out of. All right, we're going to the president's room. It grows all the way from Texas to Virginia, but just like I said, it's just not getting the replanted. It takes so long for it to get it. Sure. Kitty's out there getting mangoes. The mango trees, this one right here, guys. You didn't see it on the way in. Check it out on the way back out. It thing's got massive mangoes. They weigh like a pound all over, and they're only about 2 or 3 weeks away from being ripe. All right, now, cool thing to talk about as you come into the president's room is the Harry Truman Key West uniform. When those guys get down here in November of 1946, Truman had never been to Florida before. They all get off the airplane. It's the middle of November. It's like 85 degrees, and they're all in dark suits and ties and hard shoes just because they've just left Washington, D.C. Truman, I guess, probably does one of these right away, like, we're not wearing this down here. Well, Royal Palm Sportswear out of Miami hears that the president is starting to frequent Key West, and he's looking for better tropical attire. So their marketing department throws together a huge box of their Hawaiian print shirts, all sizes and colors, and they send it to 111 Front Street. Truman opens up the box. He's like, this is perfect. He puts one on. He starts passing them out to the rest of the staff and the press corps. If you're down here with me, you're wearing a Harry Truman Key West uniform. Khaki slacks or shorts, Hawaiian print shirts, and sneakers. So we're going to be comfortable, but we're going to get work done. Now, Truman, with that sense of humor of his, says next time you guys come down for one of these work vacations, I want you to have found the brightest, craziest shirt that you can find, because I'm going to judge you. That's right. He's going to invent the loud shirt contest in Key West, Florida. And there's one on the back side of that closet door from December of 1949. By then, almost everybody's gotten in the spirit. They're having a good time goofing on it. I guarantee you the guy in the back row with the plaid shirt did not win the contest. he hadn't quite caught on yet. Now the shirt that's in the case right there, the Aztec calendar print one right there, that's the only shirt I've got in the house that was Harry Truman's. I got pictures of him in Bob's book downstairs wearing that one down here in Key West. But in 1991, that shirt is gifted to the museum. Margaret will go on to get married. She will have 4 boys. The eldest, Clifton, he's here all the time with his wife, Polly. They come down about 4 times a year, and they stay in that Clinton bedroom. He gifts us that shirt in 1991. He says, I got this one from Grandma in 72, right after Granddad passed away, because I asked Grandma what she was going to do with all the old crazy shirts. And she says, I don't know, take them. So, but he says in 91, I wore this one to fraternity parties in the late 1970s, but I washed the beer stains out of it. Here you guys go, 3 generations of Truman family history in that shirt right there that's in the case. So that's the only one I got in the house. It was his. The rest are props. All right, we're getting ready to go downstairs. Speaking of stairs, around the corner you're going to see a stairwell that goes up. There's no 3rd floor, guys. All that's up there now is our air conditioning system. What used to be up there, 2 big cisterns to collect your rainwater. Before we got a pipeline bringing fresh water down from the mainland during World War II. So what's up there now? Our air conditioning system. Yes, there's nothing on there. Picture at the top of the steps. He's 85 years old. It's 1969. That is his last vacation to Key West. Careful on the steps. Come on in, everybody. The living room is the largest room in the house. Look around at all the photos. I got Eisenhower, I got Carter, I got Colin Powell, I got Taft, I got Kennedy, I got everybody in. I think I got everybody in here. Yeah, that's Lauren McCall on top of that piano with the Vice President. How about that one? That's a lot of fun. So if you weren't involved in the card game in the evenings, this is where you would be entertained. There's no televisions in this house until 1957, after the base commanders' families moved back in and television becomes a lot more popular. But Hollywood, yes. Hollywood was going big time in the late 1940s, so they would break out these projectors. You'd watch the latest Hollywood movies, comedies, dramas, but this is where you'd be entertained in the evenings if you weren't involved in the card game. Speaking of music and stuff, check out his piano over there. That's off the USS Waynesburg. So when he leaves office in 53, that's government property, so it's actually going to stay here. When he comes back to visit for his vacations, the admirals will always invite him over, even though he stays with Spotswood, his buddy down the street. They'll always invite him over to play piano and to have dinner. And there he is playing that piano in this room. He's in his early 80s at that point. It's 1964. That's one of his last vacations. Now the photo with Lauren Bacall there, everybody loves to talk about that one. He's entertaining some furloughed troops in the National Press Club. It's February 45, so the war's still going on. He's still vice president. In walks Lauren Bacall with her publicist. She's just finished her first movie, so the publicist is thinking, all right, let's send her in there. She'll entertain some troops. She's a beautiful woman. And you're going to entertain some troops with those legs like that in 1945. And sure enough, click, 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 it ends up in newspapers, magazines all over the place. It's going to be good for Lauren Bacall's career because, like I said, she just finished her first movie. She's a beautiful woman. The publicity's going to help her. But who's going to see that photo in a magazine, or excuse me, in a newspaper on Tuesday morning and not like it? You got it, Bess. You got it. But she's just about to meet Bogart. She will get married to him very shortly after that. Because, yeah, she gets married very young, and he's like 38 or something like that.
Yeah.
Bess sees that, and she thinks that's just scandalous. So she's not pleased. That's not a good night for him, okay? It's a good night for her, but not so much for Harry Truman. Now that desk right there, that is the original desk. What's he going to do from that desk? Let's talk specifics. February, March of 1948 from that desk. He's going to author the charters of the United Nations from that desk that winter. From that desk, December through March of 48 and 49, he's managing the Berlin airlift. There's no Berlin Wall yet, but Stalin's cut off all the roads and railways in there, so he's working with the French, British, and Canadians to make sure that a plane takes off out of southern England and goes either the French, the British, or the American sector airport in West Berlin every 90 seconds to supply this. February, March of 1949, what does he do from that desk? Well, 75 years ago, last April, he authors the North Atlantic Treaty Organization from that desk. They just celebrated the 75th anniversary, huge parties. Over in Brussels, Clifton, the grandson with the funny shirt story, his wife Polly, and Anthony Blinken were over in Brussels last April celebrating the 75th anniversary of NATO, and they unveiled an 11-foot tall statue of his grandfather in the headquarters of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization in Brussels just last April. March 20th, 1951 from that desk, he signs a ceasefire order for the Korean Peninsula. Obviously, it's not going to hold because the war's going to go on for 2 more years. Problem Truman has is this. He's told all of his admirals and generals in a meeting in Hawaii the previous fall, 1950, he says, guys, this is not World War II anymore. You don't just go wandering off doing what you want on your own. You got a Department of Defense now. You got a Pentagon now. Everything goes through the White House. Who makes a public statement that he doesn't like the ceasefire? 5-star General Douglas MacArthur, the guy running the show over there. 3 days later, on March 23rd, he flies back to Washington and starts drawing up the papers to relieve Douglas MacArthur of his command and replace him with General Ridgway. Doesn't go over well. Even though MacArthur was the most arrogant general we've ever had in the history of the United States, he was very popular. So firing Douglas MacArthur is not going to go over well for Harry Truman. He's going to get more nasty personal letters sent to the White House than any president gets over anything in history. Who's writing most of these nasty personal letters? It's not the old troops, guys. It's little old ladies writing to the President of the United States vulgar letters, words that you would have not thought were in their vocabularies in 1951. So when he leaves office in 1953, he's got the lowest approval rating of any president in holy history on the way out the door. I mean, lower than Carter's, lower than everybody's. It's insane. The last few guys have all left office was somewhere like in the mid-40s. I would take that. Where was Truman in 1953 on the way out? The lowest ever? 22%. And he knows it. And he says, yeah, I had to make some really tough decisions during some really tough times. But let history be the judge of me. And he's right. Look at the poster behind all those Christmas ornaments in the gift shop on the way out. C-SPAN poll done in 2009. 64 presidential historians came together and rated all the presidents based on how they handle crisis, ethics, overall job performance. Where's Truman in that poll in 2009? He's number 5. So he's one of the best presidents we ever had. The guy didn't want the job. Only other president that actually said really he didn't want the job, get this. Leaving Mount Vernon in 1789 on his way to New York City to get sworn in, George Washington says to his family and staff, I feel like a convict going off to my own execution. So Washington didn't want the job either, but both those guys are always in the top 5. Last official act of business that happens in this house, gotta talk about this. That's 2001. Secretary of State General Colin Powell. He's having a meeting in this room. He's seated right about where I'm standing right here. He's got the leaders of Azerbaijan and Armenia in here. Maps of the Caucasus region spread around the room, trying to figure out what borders these guys can agree on, because they've been fighting since the breakup of the Soviet Union. Now, this little dinky table right here wasn't nearly big enough for all the staff and translators, so what table do you bring in for the International Summit? The poker table. You got it. There it is, right there. Bob took him on the tour of the house and had sense enough to ask him, why did you choose this place to have the meeting? And he said, Truman was really important to me. I joined the military only a few years after he left office. If he had not desegregated the military when he did, the way he did, I might have been stuck as a cook. Basically, I wouldn't have been able to rise to the rank of general if he hadn't done what he did. Isn't that a cool story? I hope you guys had fun. Thank you for your donations to the museum. And like I said, I will follow you guys out and answer any other questions. Some of you didn't quite catch the introduction. I will come out and hang out with you and talk about that. And also, whether it's talk about the atomic bomb or where's the best Cuban sandwich or anything you got, I'll come out and answer any other questions because I got nothing else to do. I don't have to grade papers. It's not like teaching. It doesn't go home with me. So I'll hang out with you guys after it's over and after answer any other questions. The next tour hadn't even come in the house yet. Get your pictures with the life-size cutout if you want. Yeah, check us out. We're both Scotch-Irish. We're both 5'8". Yeah, the other day I had 3 ladies tell me that I should get the little round glasses and I'd be his twins. I catch it all the time. So get your pictures with him. Whoever's first out, what you'll do is go down the ramp, lower that cord, and like I said, I'll be in the gift shop to answer any other questions. Come outside, hang out by the car, answer any other questions. Grab a comment card. These things, thank you so much. Appreciate the tips.
You're welcome.
These have postage included. Drop them off anywhere. Yeah, just slap my name on there. My name's Chet. I'm named after an accidental president. And I work at an accidental president museum. Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
My great-grandparents in the Shenandoah Valley named my grandfather Chester Arthur Young after Chester Arthur of Vermont, who becomes president when Garfield's assassinated in 1881. So that's where I got the Chet